Hi, I'm Brad Gormley, and today I'm going to cover a fan clutch issue today on this 2005 Dodge Ram 3500. So the code I have in this is a p0483, which is for fan clutch performance. So here in my hand I got this brand new, it's a Visctronic fan, I got it from Chrysler, it's a OEM. P0483, that's actually, it can be quite a common issue. This truck has 250,000 kilometers. So what I see on these actually is I can clear this code and drive this truck and I won't get that code to come up, but as soon as I give it back to the customer and he hooks his trailer up and goes for a drive with the trailer on a hot summer day with the AC on, maybe he's pulling a hill, then the engine light will come on and I have a P0483. So why is that? Well, that's because basically what's happening, a P0483 is for fan clutch performance. The computer's not seeing the fan spinning at the speed that it wants to see it at. And the reason for that is well, first of all, we have our computer takes into fact to control your fan's clutch speed is based on your engine oil temperature, your engine coolant temperature, your ambient air temperature, if your AC is on or not. And basically, it's not, the fan will never ever command 100% speed unless it's under enough load to heat it up to see the parameters that it needs to be. So that's why when the customer hooks his trailer on, he's towing 10-12,000 pounds, and it's on a hot summer day, the engine is getting up to temperature, it's getting really hot, your coolant's getting hot, your oil's getting hot, and then the computer is saying, okay, we want to command the fan to spin at full speed, 100%, and it's commanding this right here, this motor, and then it's trying to spin it at 100%. But the computer itself is not seeing the speed that it wants to see, and the reason for that is there's a motor on this, and that motor ends up having an internal issue, and because it has that internal issue, it just can't, it's working as hard as it can and it's trying to spin and it can't. So that's why we have a new one. The other issue I see with these commonly is actually can cause not commonly I should say, but it can cause a no start on these trucks. What happens is something goes wrong inside this motor and it screws up with your 5-volt reference circuit of the computer, and you'll come in, you'll try and start the truck, it'll crank all day long, and you'll turn, most likely you'll have codes P0483, but you have p2509 with it, and that's just trying to say that basically it's having a memory loss, but that's just because this is pulling so much power and it's interfering with that 5-volt reference. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace this, and I'll show you guys how to do that and some of the special tools that I use. All right, so to get started, there's 4 bolts that hold this fan shroud in. You got one right here. We're gonna take that off. It's a 13 mil. We got one on the other side. This is up top, and over here there's that one other 13 mil. So those need to come off, and I'll start by taking those off. And I'm also gonna pull the fan nut. There's a fan nut there. That's actually down there. It's actually part of the electronic fan clutch, but that's how we separate the fan from it. So basically this nut here is a 36 millimeter. What I use to take that out is this. It's an air hammer attachment for the fan clutch. It's a 36. It comes with a whole Lyle kit. I bought this, I think I paid about 180 bucks for it a couple of years ago. I think you can get it for cheaper on Amazon, but this is what I use. But if you'd like to use something else, I'm sure you can get away with using, you know, another, like just a manual fan clutch wrench, or maybe like a crescent wrench or something like that, whatever works for you. But this is just what I use, and I find it works the best. I got my snap-on air hammer that I use with. Okay, so we're gonna pull this side off here, and we got this one down here on the driver's side. We'll just pull that out quickly. This actually isn't a very long job. I can do it in about half hour now, but obviously if this is the first time you're doing it, it's going to take you a little bit longer. You don't even have to really pull the fan shroud the whole way out. You can usually just pull it out about halfway and sneak the fan through, but that's up to you. I'll probably just end up pulling it halfway. It's just kind of easier to go back together than that way. So then once you get these off here, you can kind of just pull your shroud like that. It's easier once you get the bottom ones off too, because there's 2 more on the bottom I'll show you. But you can kind of pull this towards the front and then slide it up, but I'll show you that in a minute. So I've already cracked all the bolts down below loose here, but this is on the passenger side looking up from the bottom. You got your one bracket here. It's another 13 mil, just like the top. We'll pull it off. And you also have over here on this side, somebody's kind of broken the shroud here, but you have this 13 here as well that comes off. And also you have your clip for your fan wiring. So that's a 10 mil. I've already cracked that one loose too. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna pull that out. And then also your wiring for your fan clutch, you're gonna undo the connector, pull it apart. And once you get that bracket off here and the shroud is loose, you can actually just slide this off like that, take your wiring, and then just kind of push it into where the fan is, and it'll go out with this is gonna go out with the fan. So I just kind of tuck it in. And like I said, I just got to get that 13 mil off there, and then I can pull the shroud out. Okay, so I got the nut off there on the passenger side, the nut off on the driver's side. The fan clutch wiring I have tucked in here. You can't really see it, but it is tucked in there. And now you can just take the shroud, you push it in like that off your clips, and then you can actually just push the whole shroud up. I need two hands so I can push both sides at the same time, but actually just like that, and then that's loose. And you can just kind of push it up. But now next I'll show you how to take the fan off. Alright, so this is how I take the fan off. I have my air hammer with my air hammer attachment fan clutch remover. This is just a left hand thread, a right hand thread on this fan clutch. So righty tighty, lefty loosey. Then we're just going to crack it loose with this, and then we just spin the fan off. So if I can show you. Bam, and just like that, it comes loose. Pull this out. And now we can just take our fan, once it's cracked loose, and just spin it like that. You can see the nut, if let's get the camera to focus here, but the nut is actually spinning off now. And just keep spinning it. Anyways, you get the idea. Now that the nuts are off and the fan is loose, I have it off its pulley now. I just kind of pull that back and hook it up, and that way I can just go to the bottom, undo the ones on the bottom. Same thing, just pull it towards the front of the truck, get it off its little spots there, and I can just slide the whole shroud up and out of the truck. And now with the fan shroud partway out, like that, I can just come up to the top like this, grab the fan, there we go, just pull it up and out from the front of the engine, and now we can replace the fan clutch. So now with the fan out, we just got all these 13 millimeters here. We're gonna just take those out, and then we can switch, put our new fan clutch in. Once that's out, just like that, fan is separated, and there's our old fan clutch, and the install is the same way. Just make sure that you don't over torque it and ruin your threads. But thank you so much. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe.